Okay, good day everyone. For today's video or for today's lesson, it's about IT infrastructure and emerging technologies. So, it will be our unit 1. So, kung titingnan ninyo yung syllabus natin, makikita natin doon yung bawat unit or yung kumbaga yung mga topics na makikita natin na naka-upload sa Google Classroom. So, this is just a summary lang nung unit 1 para malaman na rin natin kung ano ba ibig sabihin niyan. Kasi alam ko na medyo mahirap intindihin kapag babasahin nyo lang. Yung iba sa inyo siguro nagigets, pero mas maganda pa rin yung na-explain natin. Although, nauna na yung quiz natin, hindi ibig sabihin nun ay hahayaan nyo na lang siya. Yung quiz natin, practice yun para sa inyo na mag-self-study kayo. Para kahit kunwari hindi man ma-discuss yan sa inyo, alam niyo at alam niyo na may sasagot kayo. So, simulan natin. So, IT infrastructure at emerging technologies. So, ang learning objectives natin dito is para malaman ng mga bagay-bagay about dito. So, number 1 dito is what is infrastructure and what are the stages and drivers of IT infrastructure evolution. Then, what are the common components of IT infrastructure? Also, the current trends in computer hardware platforms, and what are the current trends of computer software platforms naman. At lastly, challenges of managing IT infrastructure and management solutions. So, punta tayo dito sa IT infrastructure and stages. So, dito, malalaman natin kung ano yung mga eras na dumaan from simula noon hanggang sa present. Okay, so, una, dapat alam natin kung ano yung IT infrastructure. So, para sa kaalaman ng lahat, ang infrastructure po ay ito'y binubuo po ng mga sa tingin niyo siguro buildings yung pumapasok sa isip niyo kapag nadidinig niyo yung infrastructure. Pero infrastructure po in general, physical and organizational structures po siya and facilities. Example dito is buildings, roads, power supplies na kailangan sa operasyon ng society or ng enterprise. Pero dito sa subject na to, ang pag-uusapan natin is IT infrastructure. So, magkaiba yung infrastructure sa IT infrastructure. So, ano pang ibig sabihin niya ng IT infrastructure? So, ito yung set of physical devices and software required to operate enterprise. So, when it comes to computer, alam naman natin na kailangan natin ng mga software tsaka hardware specification. Tapos, set of physical devices. So, magkakasama siya. Kasama dito yung software. Hindi lang siya basta hardware na pinagtugsong-dugsong nyo lang. Nilagyan nyo lang ng mga cable. May mga software na rin dito. Also, it is a set of firm-wide services including computing platforms providing computer services, telecommunication services, data management services, application software services, physical facilities management services, IT management, education, and other services. So, tandaan nyo po yan, yung mga services na nakapaloob sa IT infrastructure. Okay, so service platforms perspective, more accurate view of value of investments. Okay, so makikita natin dito sa figure 1 yung connection between the firm, IT infrastructure, and business capabilities. So, kung mapapansin niyo, yung IT strategy nasa gitna. Then, followed by business strategy at information technology. So, kapag okay na sila, makikita natin dito yung IT services and infrastructure. And then, customer services, supplier services, or ito yung mga tinatawag natin na finished product. So, the services, a firm is capable of providing to its customers. suppliers, and employees that are direct functions of his IT infrastructure. So, ideally pala, itong infrastructure na ito ang nagsusupport sa firm business natin at sa strategy ng ating information system. So, pag pinagsabi natin na information system, kabuuan siya na system na nakapaloob sa isang organization or isang company. At dito, yung bagong informasyon or impormasyon ng teknolohiya ay meron palang napakalaking impact sa business at sa strategy nito. At syempre, lalo-lalo na doon sa mga services na pinaprovide dito sa mga customers. So, iba-iba po ang business natin. Meron tayong tinatawag na BPO sa Business Process Outsourcing. Meron po sila dyan na tinatawag na infrastructure. Hindi lamang po sila basta nag-ooperate na basta may computer ka, basta may internet ka ay okay na. Hindi po. Kailangan po dyan yung tinatawag natin na management. So, doon sa business process management natin, matatakal natin doon yung tinatawag natin support process, yung mga management. Yun. So, dito muna tayo mag-focus sa infrastructure. Then, so, ngayon alam na natin yung infrastructure. Tingnan naman natin yung mga era. Kung ano yung mga evolution ng infrastructure. So, ang kauna, meron tayong 5. So, ang kaunahan is yung General Purpose Mainframe and Minicomputer era from 1959 up to now or present. So, ano pa yung mainframe? Kung matatanda ninyo sa basic computer ninyo or kung naitakal man sa inyo yan nung siguro nung senior high kayo or basic computer nyo, yung mainframe po, ginagamit natin yan sa mga bulk of datas. Kumbaga siya yung parang isang server na nandun lahat. Actually, ginagamit pa siya until now. Then, personal computer era from 1981 to present. So, gumagamit tayo niyan, yung tinatawag na PC. So, pag sinabi nyo PC, computer, redundant, personal computer po ibig sabihin ng PC. Then, we have the client server era from 1983 until now, ginagamit po yan. Ito po yung mga desktop clients network to servers with processing work split between clients and servers. Network may be two-tiered or multi-tiered. Ito yung gumagamit ng various types of mga server. Yung mga network, application, web, yung makikita natin kapag nag-surf tayo. So, may mga server silang ginagamit, kaya na-access natin sila. Then, number 4, we have Enterprise Computing Era. Nagsimula siya noong 1992. Sa ngayon, ginagamit pa siya. Move the word integrating disparate networks, applications using the internet standards, and enterprise applications. Then, lastly, we have cloud and mobile computing. Yan, paborito niya lahat. Nagsimula siya noong 2000. At ngayon, siya yung, para sa akin, siya yung kakalimitang ginagamit ng mga tao. Kasi pag sinabi niyong cloud computing, computing power and software applications supplied over the internet or other network. So, from the kaya sinabi niyang cloud, over the network siya. Wireless po, wireless connection na siya. Hindi na kayo gagamit ng mga UTP cable para ma-access ninyo yung mga information na kailangan natin. May message ka ba? Messenger? Ayun na, sorry. Then, ito yung fastest growing form of computing. Okay, wait lang guys. Okay, let's continue. Ayun. So, So, punta naman tayo sa stages in IT infrastructure evolution. So, dito sa figure na to, makikita niyo yung typical computing configuration, characterizing each of the 5 eras of IT infrastructure evolution. So, dito makikita niyo yung mainframe or mini computer. Then, we have the personal computer. Then, we have the client server. Ayan. So, mainframe computer makikita natin dito. Parang isang server lang tapos gumagamit. Tapos dito tayo kumukuha ng mga information. Then, personal computer. Siyempre, personal computer niyan, isa-isa lang. Then, client server. May isang server connection na pinapagkunan ng or source ng bawat isang device or bawat isang computer. Then we have the enterprise computing. Ayan, siya po yan. Enterprise, meron po over the internet, meron po tayong tinatawag na para ito yung pinaka-database niya or server. Then meron another server. Then lahat sila ay nag-share ng information. Then we also have the cloud computing, cloud and mobile computing na widely ginagamit talaga. So we have the cell phone, the laptop, the internet. Yan. So we have hardware, software, services. Yan po. So nandiyan po yung mga telecommunication natin na tumutulong sa atin para magamit natin yung cloud computing. Yan po. So, figure 3, kung makikita nyo, multi-tiered client or server network client requests for service are handled by different level of servers. So, iba-ibang servers yung gumagana. Hindi lamang siya basta isang server. So, meron tayong tinatawag na client. Through the internet, ma-access nitong web server. Then, ma-access din siya ni application server. Then, yung information na kinakailangan nitong department na to at yung ibabato niya na data. Okay, so let's continue. So, technology drivers of information or of infrastructure evolution. So, meron tayong Moore's Law and microprocessing power. So, para kay Moore's Law, ang computing power po ay nadodoble every 18 months. Then we have the nanotechnology, shrink size of transistor to size comparable to size of a virus. So ibig sabihin po, nanotechnology, pinapaliit niya yung size ng transistor para magkasya lahat ng information na kailangan natin. So, yan yung nanotechnology. At meron din tayo tinatawag law of mass digital storage. The amount of data being stored each year doubles. So, kung mapapansin ninyo, nung mga una-una, ang liliit lang ng mga storage ng mga storage devices natin such as the flash drive, floppy disk, yan. Ang liliit pa nung magkakasya dyan. Ano pa ba yung mga storage devices natin? So, mga memory card natin, SD card, yan, di ba maliit lang? So, ngayon, each year, lumalaki siya. Kahit yung cellphone ninyo, palaki na din yung memory, di ba? Natin, liit lang yan. 2 gig lang. Patas ang patas, may 128 na nga. Yan, so, figure 4, kung titingnan ninyo, packing more than 5 billion transistors into a tiny microprocessor and has exponentially increased processing power. So processing power has increased to more than 200,000 MIPS or 2.6 billion instructions per second. So kung mapapansin niyo dito, noong 1970, ang liit lang nung transistors na kasya sa kanya. So ngayon, tingnan nyo, from 1970, 2014, until now, 2020, sobrang laki na ng transistors na nagagamit. So, palaki na palaki talaga yung storage, natin. Yung storage ng bawat device natin or yung mga storage devices. Then also, packing more transistors into less space has driven down transistors costly dramatically as well as the cost of the products in which they are used. So, kay Moore's Law, palakihin natin yung storage pero paliitin natin yung cost. So, kung mapapansin niyo, dati napakamahal yan. Ngayon, nagmumura na lang siya. Sa unang labas, syempre, mahal. Pero pag tumagal, magiging mura na lang yung mga prices ng mga storage device natin na yan. Then, we have the figure 6, the nanotubes. They are tiny tubes about 10,000 times thinner than a human hair. So, biruin nyo yun. Nakakagawa tayo ng nanotubes. Consists of rolled up sheets of carbon, hexagon, and have the potential use as minuscule wires in a ultra small electronic device and are very powerful conductors of electrical current. So, sa napakaliit na wire na yun, napapagkasya nila sa isang sa isang object para maging storage device. So, parang yung SD card, di ba? Late na. So, may mga nanotubes sa loob niya. So, siguro ginagawa siya under microscope. I think. Yung sa mga napanood ko dating video. Pero, machine yata gumagawa nun kaya wag nyo na problemahin yun. Okay, the cost of storage device declines exponentially in 1950 to present. So, kung mapapansin niyo, since the first magnetic storage device was used in 1995, ang cost nito ay nag-store lang ng kilobyte of data. At syempre, tumataas siya for kapag dumadaan yung kapag lumilipas yung panahon. So, from storing kilobyte ngayon, gigabyte na, 'di ba? Terabyte na nga yung mga storage na available ngayon. Tapos yung cloud storage services natin, ang laki na ng space na pwede nating ilaman doon. So, ano ba yung mga cloud storage services na binibigay ni Google? So, meron tayong Google Drive where you can upload or naglalagay kayo ng mga files ninyo. Okay, so meron din tayong tinatawag na Metcalfe's Law and Network Economics. So, according to Metcalfe's Law, value of power of a network grows exponentially such as a function of the numbers of network member. So, ibig sabihin po, the more the network members increase, the more people want to use it. So, kapag mas marami po yung or mas mataas yung demand for network access, kung mas mataas yung demand na gagamitin ito ng tao, syempre mag-i-increase yung network natin. So, ayun. So, palaki ng palaki. So, yun yung network economics according to Metcalfe's Law. Okay, so we also have declining communication costs and the internet. An estimated 3 billion people worldwide have internet access. So, biruin nyo yun. So, siguro, sa dami ng tao, halos lahat gumagamit na ng internet. Maliban na lang siguro doon sa mga nakabahag. Hindi natin alam. Baka may mga devices na rin silang ginagamit. Also, as communication costs fall toward a very small number and approach zero. Utilization of communication and computing facilities explode. Okay, so dito sa figure na to, makikita natin one reason for the growth of the internet population is the rapid decline in internet connection and overall communication cost. The cost per kilobit of internet access has fallen exponentially since 1995. Digital subscriber line (DSL) and cable modems now deliver a kilobyte of communication for a retail price of less than 1 penny. Okay, so yun po. So let's proceed to the next topic. So technology drivers of infrastructure. So continue pala. Let's continue. Sorry. So standards and network effects. So we have technology standards. So ano ba siya? Siya po yung specifications that establish the compatibility of products and the ability to communicate in a network. And also, it unleashes the power of economics of scale and result in price declines in manufacturers, and they also focus on the products built to a single standard. Okay, so yan po. Then, let's jump to the next topic na po. So, we have the IT infrastructure and its 7 main components. So, ano-ano daw po yung 7 main components po ng IT infrastructure. So, first, we have the computer hardware platforms. Then, we have the operating system platforms, enterprise software applications, data management and storage, networking, telecommunication platforms, internet platforms, and lastly, consulting system integration services. Okay, so tingnan natin dito sa figure 9. So, we have the 7 major components that must be coordinated to provide the firm with a coherent IT infrastructure. Okay, so listed here are the major technologies and supplier for each component. So, makikita natin dito yung IT infrastructure ecosystem. So, dun sa ecosystem na yan, makikita natin yung 7 major components. Huwag nyo kakalimutan, guys, ha. So, nandyan yung computer hardware platforms. So, from here, hardware platforms. Sino-sino ba yung mga gumagawa ng hardware platforms na yan? Okay, so we have Dell. We have IBM. We have the Oracle, Sun, HP, Apple. Sila po, gumagawa po sila ng computer hardwares. Then, we have the operating system platforms. Sino po mga gumagawa niyan? So, meron po tayong Windows or si Microsoft Windows na talaga namang ginagamit ng bawat isa. Maliban lang kung mayaman ka, meron kang Mac OS. We also have the Unix, the Linux, Chrome, Android for phones, then iOS for iPhone. Then we have the enterprise software applications, including middleware. So, yung enterprise po, ginagamit po yan sa business, such as the SAP or SAP, Oracle, Microsoft, and IBM. Then we have networking, telecommunications. So, ano-ano po yung mga yon? So, sila po yung nagpo-provide po ng or mga internet providers. So, we have the Microsoft Windows Server, Linux, we have the Cisco, Alcatel, Lucent, AT&T, Verizon. Kung mapapansin niyo po, sa US po yan. Pero dito sa Pilipinas, may Cisco. Then, we have the consultant and system integrators. So, we have IBM, HP, and Accenture. So, yung mga gusto mag-software engineer, mag-apply lang po kayo sa Accenture kung gusto nyo at kung matatapos nyo. So, bago yan, isipin nyo muna makatapos, no? Then we have the data management and storage. So, we have the IBM DB2 or database. I think it's database. Then, Oracle. And we have the SQL Server, structured query language, when we have the Sybase, the MySQL, the EMC, then we have the Apache and the Hadoop. Okay, so we have the computer hardware platform. So ito po yung mga client machines, desktop PCs, laptop, mobile computing, smartphones, tablets. So yung mga yan po yung mga computer hardware platforms po. Servers. Blade servers, ultra-thin computers stored in racks, and mainframes. IBM mainframe equivalent to thousands of blade servers. Top chip producers. Okay, nagpo-provide sa kanila ng mga chip. We have Intel and AMD. So kung mapapansin ninyo, yung mga gumagawa ng computers tulad ni Dell, ni HP, ano pa, Lenovo, yan, yung mga yan. Tapos meron din sila syempre chip producers, which are Intel and AMD. So titingnan natin ano processor niyan, ano. So Intel Core i5, yung mga ganon, or AMD, yan. Yung AMD kasi maganda rin yung ano niya for gaming eh. Then we also have the operating system platforms. Okay, so operating systems, so we have the server level, which is 65% run Unix or Linux, 35% run Windows. I think sa ngayon mas marami gumagamit ng Windows. Client level, so ayan, so tama nga, 90% run Microsoft Windows. For mobile naman, Android po ang ginagamit, tsaka iOS. Cloud computing, so Google Chrome OS. So yung iba yung gumagamit, ibang browser yung ginagamit nila. We also have the enterprise software application. So enterprise application providers, so we have SAP or SAP and Oracle. So middleware provider, so we have IBM and Oracle. So yung mga company sa industry po, nagpo-provide po yung mga malalaking company ng mga enterprise software po, tulad ni IBM, Oracle, meron pa, madami pa eh, basta depende rin sa organization kung ano yung gusto nilang bayaran na company na nagpo-provide sa kanila ng software. So yung mga binabayaran nila yon, diyan sila kumikita. Okay, next we have the data management and storage. So we have the database software, so IBM or DB2. We have Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, Sybase or Adaptive Server Enterprise, MySQL. So sa programming natin, ang gagamitin natin is SAMP server, which is yun ang gagamitin natin na connection dun sa program natin. Physical data storage, we have the EMC Corp, Seagate, and Western Digital. We also have the storage area network, so connect multiple storage devices on dedicated network. Okay, next one, we have the networking telecommunications platform. So telecommunication services, telecommunications cable, telephone company, the charges for the voice lines and internet access, AT&T and Verizon. So sa Pilipinas, we have Smart, Globe, PLDT. Dito. Okay, network operating system, we have Windows Server, Linux, Unix. Then we have network hardware providers. We have Cisco, Alcatel, Lucent, Juniper Networks. Yeah. We also have internet platforms, so hardware, software, management services to support company websites, including web hosting services, intranets, and extranet. So sa internet po, ito po ay exclusive lamang sa may mga access dito. Kung wala ka pong access dun sa intranet, hindi mo po siya basta-basta masa-surf or ma-open. Kailangan mo po ng mga proxy server or VPN server para maka-access tayo dun sa internet na yan. Then we have the internet hardware server market. We have the IBM, Dell, Sun, Oracle, and HP. Yan, mga gumagawa ng mga devices natin. And also nagpo-provide sila ng internet hardware server. We have the web development tools suite, Microsoft, Visual Studio, and .NET. Oracle Sun, Java, Adobe, Real Network. So, web development, kung gusto mong gumawa ng mga program, andyan lang po si Microsoft Visual Studio, .NET, si Oracle, at syempre, kung gusto mo rin, gumamit ka ng PHP. Depende sa'yo kung ano yung gusto mong gamitin. For ano naman yan, PHP? For web applications naman siya. So, madami tayong tools or programming tools na pwede natin magamit yan. Next, we have the consulting and system integration services. So, even large firms do not have resources for full range of support for new or complex infrastructure. Leading consulting firms, we have Accenture, IBM, Global Services, HP, Infosys, Wipro Technologies. Then we have software integration, so ensuring new infrastructure works with legacy system. Then what do you mean by legacy system? So it's an older TPS created for mainframes that would be too costly to replace or design. So yung legacy system, yung mga ina-update lang natin yan na system na matagal lang ginawa. So syempre, nandiyan si consultation and system integration services para yung bagong technology ngayon, ma-integrate natin dun sa datihan na. So yan po yung ginagawa nila. Then we have the mobile digital platform. So first, we have the smartphones, iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry. Data transmission. So, pwede ka dito, meron dito data transmission, web surfing, email, IM, Facebook, Messenger, etc. We have netbooks, small lightweight notebooks optimized for wireless communication, and Cortask. So ngayon, netbook siguro ginagamit na lang nyo ngayon para mag-Facebook, no? We have tablets or the iPad. Then, we have the network e-readers. Then, wearable devices such as smartwatches, smart glasses. Yan. So, yun yung mga nabibili sa Lazada, no? Yung mga smartwatches na yan. Okay, so next topic natin, so we have the greening of the data center. Okay, what business and social problems does data center power consumption cause? So, what solutions are available for these problems? Are they management, organizational, or technology solutions? Explain your answer. So, kahit din nyo na muna sigutin yan siguro. Ako na lang magbibigay sa inyo yan. So, ito yung mga possible questions na ibigay ko sa inyo. Then, current trends in hardware platform. So, we have the BYOD. So, ano pong ibig sabihin niya? Ibig sabihin po is bring your own device. Maraming na mali sa quiz. Bring your only device yung nilagay ko. Own po siya. Allowing employees to use personal mobile devices in workplace. So, later on, bibigyan ko kayo na activity about yan. Then, we have the consumerization of IT. So, it means new information technology emerges in consumer markets first and spread to business organizations and forces businesses and IT departments to rethink how IT equipment and services are acquired and managed. Then, we have the quantum computing. Uses quantum physics to represent and operate on data. Then, we have dramatic increase in computing speed. Virtualization, it means that it allows single physical resource to act as multiple resources. For example, run multiple instances of operating systems. It reduces the hardware and power expenditures, and it facilitates hardware centralization. Cloud computing. On-demand utility computing services obtained over network. Infrastructure as a service. Platforms as a service. Software as a service. Also, cloud computing can be public or private. So, kapag sinabi natin private, pwede po dyan yung internet. Kapag po naka-public, yung mga extranet natin, then we have, it also allows companies to minimize IT investments. Also, drawbacks po niya is concerns of security and reliability. So, syempre, kapag cloud computing, meron tayong tinatawag kasi ng mga nag-hack niyan. So, delikado rin, over the internet. Kasi mag-inject ka lang ng isang program dyan sa database niyan, baka mapasok na. Then, we have the hybrid cloud computing model. Okay, so as you can see in the figure 10, so here you can see the cloud computing. So we have the hardware, software that are capables or software capabilities, and pool of virtualized resources provided over a network. So often we call it the internet. And businesses and employees have access to applications and IT infrastructure anywhere, at any time, and on any devices. So, kung makikita natin dito, so we have the phone, the laptop, the server, the desktop, tablet, computers. Okay, so meron tayong application services and infrastructure services. Dito taas, the platform services. Ano po yung mga platform services? So, meron tayong block storage, or we have the communication network, identity management, content services. So, sa industry, pag nakapasok na po kayo, tsaka nyo makikita po yan kung how the organization work. Then, we have the application services, the content management. Ito po yung mga software na ginagamit ng isang organization. Then, we have the collaborative environments and the process management. Infrastructure services naman, ano po yung mga hardware specification nila. We have the computing resource management, network management, storage management. So, sila po yung nagmamanage ng bawat isang services po when it comes sa cloud computing. Okay, it is time for cloud computing. So, these are the questions na makikita nyo. But, depends kung ano po ang sasagutan nyo dyan. Okay, so next we have the green computing. Ano po yung green computing? Green IT. So, wag po kayong malito kung ano po siya. So, ito po yung practices and technologies for manufacturing, using, disposing of, computing, and network hardware. It also, green computing also reduces the power consumption on a high priority, and also it is responsible for 2% power demand. So, kapag sinabi natin green computing po, less po yung ginagamit natin na hardware po para hindi na maka-apekto sa environment natin. Kasi kung masyadong marami tayong mga materials na gagamitin dyan, syempre hindi na maganda, kasi minsan yung mga plastic, kapag nasira na yung mga gamitan natin, yung mga devices or computer devices natin, natatambak lang. Hindi naman maganda kay Mother Earth. At yun ding yung power consumption, syempre mas malakas yung battery, tapos yung capacitor nung mas maliit kumusumo ng kuryente, mas mabuti. Nakakasave tayo ng consumption. At also, yung high performance tsaka power saving processors. So, we have the multi-core processors and power efficient microprocessors. So, yan po, para makatulong po tayo yung mga meron tayong tinatawag na green data center, yung mga nasa isang lugar lang. Kumbaga, kunwari sa US, meron sila itong data center. Nakalimutan ko yung pinakang tawag doon kasi yun yung isang room lang na nandun lahat yung database nila, which is very friendly sa environment natin, hindi siya nakakasira. Ganon. Then we have the open source software produced by community of programmers, free and modifiable by user. Ito po yung mga free na pwede nating i-download over the internet. So, ano po yung mga example nito? So, we have the Apache Web Server, Mozilla Firefox Browser, and OpenOffice. Sa Linux naman, open source OS used in high-performance computing, used in mobile devices, local area networks, or yung tinatawag nating LAN, web servers, and Android OS. Then we have software for the web. So, we have the Java, or yung object-oriented programming natin. So, sa ngayon, ang object-oriented programming na ginagamit natin is C#. Excuse me. C#. Then, operating system, processor, independent. Meron din tayong HTML or HTML5. So, kapag third year na kayo, diyan na nyo maabutan yung web application. So, diyan gagawa kayo ng web page. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So, web page description language po siya. And yung HTML5 is the latest evolution. So, nag-embed ng media, animation, cross-platform app, offline data storage. So, ang pinaka-best example ng HTML5 ay yung tinatawag natin na WordPress. Yan. Free siya, pero yung ibang functionalities niya, hindi nyo magagamit. Kasi, kailangan nyo mag-subscribe sa premium at syempre may bayad yun. Pero kung gusto niyo magawa na lang kayo ng sarili niyo na web page na may sariling database, hindi kayo magbabayad. Once na develop nyo na yun, then tsaka kayo magbayad sa web hosting. Then we also have the Ruby and Python. Web services. So, software components that exchange information using web standard and languages. Example, we also have the XML, Extensible Markup Language. So, yung mga web services po, yan po, yung more powerful and flexible than HTML. Tagging allows computer to process data automatically. So, ito po yung mga, parang mga, using the web, makakagamit, makakapag-process na yung computer mo na basta i-open mo lang yung mga services na available sa web. Then we have the SOA or service-oriented architecture. So it is a set of self-contained services that communicate with one another to create a working software application. It is also the software developers that reuse these services in other combinations to assemble other application as needed. Ano ba yung example nito? I can give you an example. An invoice service. It is to serve the whole firm for calculating and sending printed invoices. Okay, so another one is Rent-A-Car uses web services to link online booking system with Southwest Airline website. So, service-oriented architecture, no? From manual process, nagiging ano na siya, web-based na para very convenient na sa inyo. Para hindi ka na pupunta rin sa lugar nila para, kunwari, ito, rent-a-car, hindi ka na pupunta rin para magpa-reserve or mag-rent ng car. Andiyan na po yung web services natin or may mga online platform na tayo na pwede nyong mabuksan para convenient na para sa atin. Kahit nasa bahay lang kayo, basta meron kayo internet. Okay, so dito makikita ninyo yung dito sa image na to, yung kung paano ba yung proseso ng dollar rent-a-car. I mean, kung paano siya gumagana. Makikita natin. So, paano nakakatulong yung web services sa kanya? So, ito, makikita natin, Southeast Airlines System, Tour Operator System, Traveler Reservation System, wireless website. Pumapasok lang siya sa isang service, which is sa web services lang. Then, papasok siya sa server. Then, papasok siya sa'yo. Makakapagpa-reserve ka. Then, babalik sa kanila. Then, babalik sa customer mo. It provides a standard intermediate layer of software to talk to other companies' information system. Okay, Dollar Rent a Car can use this set of web services to link other companies. So, pwede palang magamit yun para mag-link at ma-connect ka doon sa ibang company para hindi ka na mahirapan. Kumbaga, merong isang channel na, kumbaga, from si point A, organization A, organization B, organization C, para magkita-kita sila, andyan si web services para makatulong. Hindi mo na kailangan mag-build ng separate link to each firm's system. So, available si web services para mag-connect kayo. So, yan po yung pinaka role po ni web services. Then we have the software outsourcing and cloud services. We have three external sources for software. So we have software packages, enterprise software, we have software outsourcing, and cloud-based software services. Yeah, okay. So may explanation naman dyan. So let's skip na lang yan. Okay, so mashups, combination of two or more online applications such as combining mapping software, which is Google Maps, with local content. Also have apps, small pieces of software that run on the internet, on your computer, or on your mobile device. Refer commonly to mobile application, iPhone, Android. Tie user to platform. Okay, we also have dealing with the platform infrastructure change. Okay, so as firms shrink or grow, it needs to be flexible and scalable. So scalability, it is the ability to expand to serve larger number of users. Then for mobile computing and cloud computing, we have new policies and procedures for managing these new platforms. Contractual agreements with firms running clouds and distributing software required. Okay, so ibig sabihin po, kapag po nagbabago po yung yung demand po, kailangan din po nung mga firm natin na maging flexible. Maging flexible siya in terms of number of users na kailangan, number of networks na kailangan, kung storage, dagdag sa web services, basta yung mga tinatawag natin na ano ba yun? Yun, yung mga trends na yan, yun yung talagang kailangan na kailangan bigyan ng pansin para maka-cope up tayo dun sa innovation kasi nasa Industry 4.0 na tayo. Ibig sabihin yung innovation natin is hindi na tulad nung dati. Malaki na ang improvement. Okay, so next we have the management and governance. So who controls IT infrastructure? How should IT department be organized? It should be centralized. Central IT department makes the decisions. Decentralized business unit IT department makes on decisions. How are costs allocated between divisions and departments? So, tingnan na lang natin yung mga tanong, no? Tapos, isipin na lang natin kung paano siya masasagot? So, paano nga ba? So, making wise infrastructure investment. So, amount to spend on IT and its complex questions. So, rent versus buy, cloud computing, outsourcing. Okay, so depende sa organization kung paano nila kino-control yung information system nila. So, kumbaga, kung gagamit sila kung magre-rent ba sila ng software or bibili ba sila or mag-outsource na lang sila. Okay? Okay, we have... Okay, so next we have the competitive forces model for IT infrastructure investments. Okay, so we have the market demands for firm services, firms' business strategy, firms' IT strategy, infrastructure and costs, information technology assessment, and competitor firm services, competitor firm IT infrastructure investment. So we have the competitive forces model for IT infrastructure. So here, there are 6 factors that you can use to answer the question. How much should our firm spend on IT infrastructure? Okay, so from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, makikita natin kung paano natin makukuha yung cost na kailangan nating i-spend dun sa IT infrastructure na kailangan natin. Okay, so that's all. So okay, so that's all for IT infrastructure and emerging technologies. So if you have questions, pwede nyong i-raise yan sa group chat natin kung medyo hindi malabo. Kung medyo malabo yung pagkakaintindi ninyo. Pero pasensya na kasi we need to tawag doon na we need to kailangan natin bukasan yung oras natin kasi nga masyadong haba, baka ma-consume yung time ng ibang subject na kasunod. So please take time to review the discussion that I've said or discussed. At please check nyo lang yung Google Classroom or yung inyong group chat kasi magpo-post ako doon na first activity ninyo about dito sa Unit 1 natin. So I hope na may natutunan kayo at yun lamang. Salamat.